So what's up? All right. Now, this isn't going to be what's on the title when I upload this. Dispelling the people's imaginary war between AEW and NXT. That's not going to be there at all. No, no, no. See, hold on. I'm going to turn the volume up because I'm not even seeing the yellow bar. Okay, so if that's too much, my bad, but you can just turn it down. I'm trying to have a more relaxed tone here. Hold up. I'm about to turn it down because the yellow there's a spiking going on. Yeah, my OBS studio always gives me problems. I don't even understand. So, yeah, I fluctuate the volume during my shows about, twice during each of my shows. Commentary, I try to leave it where it is, but it keeps spiking or going too low, and then usually I have to start over. That aside, all right. And plus I put up there on the screen, it should be first event of Gracias Storm Stars tournament. That should be week 1 of 9 weeks. That's the onset of my major series. So let's get into this. All right. Now, why do I call it the people's imaginary war? Because there is no war. Not really. It's not. And here's the thing. What happened when people found out? When it was actually said, what happened when it was actually said, oh, wrestling, it's a work. Now, people always knew wrestling, wrestling's fake. Can't prove it, but somehow I know it is. Okay, after Vince Russo and after some jack-offs that got emotionally hurt during they weren't protecting the business, they were just trying to protect themselves. Hey, they came out, they started talking. And in shoot interviews, certain things would slip. So what happened? You know what happened. Everyone wants to talk like they're on the inside of professional wrestling. They want to use the words like job. They want to use job or work, working. They want to, juice, hard weighed. They try their best to say every inside job. And that's what makes fans to professionals look like weak marks. That's just really what happens. I'm going to shoot the truth on you, all right? I'm not going to hold it back. I'm going to be straight up honest. So, this whole thing, AEW, yeah, they got their thing going. They conglomerated. They formed a coup. Whatever it was, there was a financial and quote-unquote brotherhood forged out of Omega, the Bucks, Cody, and they brought in Jericho for notoriety. So, public visual notoriety. Because Omega's known for quite a few dumb shit things. The Young Bucks are known for mass high spots, repeated high spots, killing the super kick, which was like one of those moves when it was hit, the opponent is done. Now it's more like a stun move. Thank you, Bucks. That exposes the business, stuff like that. And that's what has been the worst part of everything. When these people keep exposing the business and then doing their shoot interviews make it even worse. I didn't want to know Omega was talking to Naito after their match. He thought, he banged Naito's head on the post or whatnot. That exposes, hey, not even the wrestlers really know what's going on during the matches sometimes. Good, to an extent, because you got somebody's body on the line in your hands. You need to know what's going on. But hey, no one's perfect, so things happen. That's always a pass. But I didn't need to know that he and Naito were just still chummy, buddy, because they were supposed to have a rivalry thing going. If you got Hogan and Piper fighting in the ring and they're hating each other, you don't get to see them at a bar later drinking together, which exposed the business a bit back then. All right? So this whole war, as soon as AEW got up and going, Well, when it was said, hey, it's finalized, it's going to be on Wednesdays, yada, yada, yada. And then NXT, Triple H's side of things in WWE, it's like, okay, we're going to be on Wednesdays too. I mean, they could have picked any other day, right? Now, yes, I have done this commentary in a sense before. I just wanted to focus on it this time, just instead of it being part of something else. So, what is going on is the people was like, it's going to be a rekindling of the Monday Night Wars. No one in professional wrestling necessarily came out and was bolstering such a thing. That was the people. That was people roughly in my generation. You know, I'm 43, and I would say people that are, I say about 30 to 33 to 43. Those are ones that remember the Attitude Era the most. Those are ones that it's like solidified in them. And they felt it was the best time. I thought it was the dumbest thing. And the reason I thought that was the dumbest thing was because you will not have a at the time, WWF superstar going into the building and wrestling a WCW superstar or wrestler. You weren't going to find it. So it was really stupid to do. Just like this, you're not going to find either one crisscrossing. And in fact, what's happening is AEW, the way they are rolling, and I didn't put up the other company, not yet. I ain't going to put them up. I'm just going to mention them. But AEW, they're just not in this. They have, even Jericho has come out and made the official statement that we're not in a war or anything like that. We're just doing what we do. We're letting people have it the way they want to have it in the ring and just have the matches they want to have. That to me is like not the best thing to do. You need some regulation. So I want y'all to know AEW, NXT, that war is not between them. It's that this is when it gets real bad. It's the fans against the fans. And even then, that, I want y'all to know, when wrestling was found out it was fake, people were pissed. They were hurt. And that's why they start using those terminologies so they don't look stupid. The problem is they're just looking dumber. Now, imagine this. With that looking as dumb as it is, imagine what's really happening right now. Where the fans are, it's AEW versus NXT. Not WWE, just NXT. It's the Wednesday Night Wars. You know, which show's going to be better? This is where's the biggest fake in pro wrestling. Ken Anderson had it best on his shirt. Pro wrestling is real, people are fake. He had it best because the wrestling fans are the biggest unwitting ribbers in the wrestling world. The fans are the biggest liars in the pro wrestling world. You might wonder how the hell is that possible? And I'm going to tell you how. Because the fans, are you NXT or are you AEW? Which crowd are you? Oh, well, I'm AEW. Oh, well, I'm NXT. Really? You are. And yet you find yourself watching both. I'm just saying, you find yourself watching both. The NXT crowd, they hate WWE, but they love their NXT. And yet they'll watch AEW. And they'll talk about how WWE sucks, but NXT is okay. But they'll watch AEW. And you got those that say, I'm AEW for life. WWE ain't shit. But then they'll watch NXT. They'll have their favorite wrestlers here in other areas of WWE. The fans are ping pong balls. And they are bouncing all over the place while claiming tribalistic views. Have any of you ever gone through that before? While one friend says, yeah, I don't like this person. You know, I'm hanging with you. And you can't hear from that friend for a few days. And then you find out they've been hanging around with that other person. And then they come up with an excuse why they're hanging around that person, but they can't stand them. That's what's going on with the fans in WWE and NXT. That's what's going on there. It's the biggest crock of bullshit on the planet next to politics. That is the ball's truth. All right? That's the ball's truth. You cannot escape that. You will find it. And I don't have to expose what's in your face anyway. I really don't have to. Now, do you know, because considering the fact that AEW did get started first, do you even know if NXT, if Paul Levesque, business given name, how you know he didn't call up Cody or somebody and was like, hey man, I'm gonna get NXT there on Wednesdays, all right? And with that, the people are gonna be like, yeah, it's gonna be them versus them. So that means everybody's gonna be clamoring tribalistically to bolster one show over the other. So that'll get the ratings up for both because they're gonna wonder who's gonna be better than who. And see who's gonna shut down who. Like which program is gonna shut down the other one. And how you know Cody and them wasn't like, oh sure, that sounds like a good plan. And then that's just it. You don't know. You don't know if that was or if it's never happened. But I'm going to tell you this. Regardless if that situation ever, or anything like that ever happened between AEW and NXT, or anything like that has actually happened, the truth is, the play out of that is happening. And because that is happening, both sides, their revenue goes up and it holds steady. That's how that's rolling. Now, let me expose this part of the whole thing. NXT is heavily financially backed. NXT has a strong fan, not cult, fan following. That's important. They have their cult following. So they have the minimum that they will drop to, but they also have a maximum that they want to achieve. So because their minimum is pretty damn high, even at their lowest, they'll be all right enough that they can always pull themselves out of the fire. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. NXT is also supported not just by fans and revenue, merchandise, and all this other stuff, but, Moneybags himself, Glom Gold McDuck, I'm just throwing it out there, So those are the people that are backing NXT, and they definitely don't have to worry about losing anything. Now, AEW, they started with a cult following. And that is, honestly, that's the honestly best thing that they could have done. You start with a cult following because then you build your fans. Cody has his niche fans that follow him from WWE. Now, those fans aren't going to leave WWE, but they're going to follow Cody also. You got Kenny Omega, who was an independent king at one point, who has his fans following him to New Japan, who gained more fans, and then he leaves for AEW. So he has his following. The Young Bucks, they had their small niche cult following, but then they went to Ring of Honor and they started going to New Japan and other places where they had their seriously a tiny cult following. People that just don't know wrestling but wants to see all the flippy floppy high spot stuff. And so they had that niche. Cody also, this sucks to say it, but after the passing of his father, people really started flocking to Cody. There was that extra air of mystique, that extra air of pride and glory. So that happened. So AEW is forged out of niche groups coming together. The 2,000, 10,000, 20,000 fans that follow each one. And out of all let's say, you got the Bucks, you got Cody, you got Omega with 10,000, that's 30,000 fans stretched across the United States and a few sprinkles of Japan. You have to count Japan out. You got to wonder about the ones that's going to be the United States. And out of the 30,000 fans, honestly, 2,000 of each are going to be those hardcore niche fans that just don't go away. They are straight up, tried and true. They are stalwart in their decision. So that's 6,000 fans, and their friends and whatnot going to be like, well, what's so good about them? And they go to their first events. They do all that. They build AEW off of that, and then the others, and it builds with a tour from Japan and things like that. They see Omega, they see Cody, and then they say, look, we're going to forge this and go against WWE, while WWE has their fans hating them at the highest point. So, yes, they didn't pull fans from WWE at all. They just gave them something else to watch. So now the fans want to watch AEW and watch WWE crash and burn. But that's not what's happening. Now you just got AEW that's up there, and AEW has their niche fans, and they've got their cult following. So they have a very good, cushiony safety net. They can't go below it. At the same time, they need to build more fans. Now, they're niche fans that might have been on average, I would say about 40,000. It goes up because it's pro wrestling. It's another thing coming to compete against, quote unquote, competes against WWE. So they're going to flood in extra fans because they want to see what they're going to do. A good deal of those fans want to see the stupid gimmicky stuff. They literally want this LOL as AEW crash and burn. They really wanted that. Yeah, it'll be fun, but then I'll be bored with it. That's how people are. This people in general, United States fans, they're pretty much ADD ridden or ADHD ridden. This is all of them. If you want to throw out the spot monkey, the high spot stuff, and just hit big move after big move and kick out after kick out, how long is that going to last before those fans is like, man, that was fun, that was cool, I love it. Then they get bored because it's the same thing every single night. They get bored of that. So the smartest thing AEW did while getting started was make sure there's going to be a mixture of things. You got your hardcore, you got your flippy floppy, you've got your crazy crap, you've got stuff that don't make sense, you've got your niche little group stuff that why would it be there in the first place, and then you've got your professional wrestlers. So you've got something to attract everyone, but your main events for AEW will always be the more professional wrestling. And they're using these matches. Which segments get the most views? Which segment do people talk about the most? That's important. So this whole war is no war. It can't be. They're just, if anything, it's two companies saying, how do we get the fans to hate the others so much that they flip-flop back and forth? Because it's pro wrestling. And you got the fans that are not, I'm be honest with you, they aren't bright enough to understand WWE is a WWE thing no matter what. They'll say Raw is better than SmackDown. SmackDown is better than Raw. NXT is better than both. Well, one of them is better than NXT and Raw. Well, one of them is better than SmackDown and NXT. This brand is better than this brand. They're all the same thing. And with WWE now, due to certain flight and schedule things and just in general doing stupid stuff, now you've got invasions going on. Now, how is it an invasion if it's all in the same company? Because I don't know if any of y'all remember, and I don't know if they still do it, but there used to be a draft. Who's going to be on SmackDown? Who's going to be on Raw? There used to be that. Just keep that in mind. There used to be a draft. And then after the draft, you've got this side versus that side. It's almost like there's a mind wipe, and they just somehow forget where they were, and now they're where they are now, and then they have to go invade the other side at some point. And now you got the same thing. I don't know if they do the draft or not, but you've got SmackDown and Raw invading NXT. You had NXT invading SmackDown, and I think they invaded Raw. I don't watch WWE. I don't. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Because of Jim Cornette, it took a while for me to watch something of NXT. And last night I tried to watch it, but I was hopped up on 2 Benadryl after I broke out. So that put me on my ass. I was done. I'm going to have to watch that again. All right. They loved the Revival, and they were going against, I can't remember the team's name, Undisputed Era. So, and when Cornette said, "This is some good shit," I'm like, okay, let me check it out. So we tried to watch it. I passed out. I mean, I saw it. I even saw kind of the end. I just have no memory of it. I got to watch it just to put all the pieces, these clipped images in my brain. I got to put them together. But I will watch NXT because the few, I saw 2 shows so far. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's better than AEW. I said it in the commentary a little bit ago. NXT is better than damn near everything on AEW. Am I tribalistic? No, because both sides have their major fuck-ups. WWE's major fuck-up is the commentary. The commentary is made for idiots. WWE's commentary is made for people that can't think past their own nose. AEW commentary is made for those that like professional wrestling. The problem is what they're commentating don't match the skill of the commentators. And just to be honest with you, Excalibur gets on my nerves every once in a while. Stick to calling moves and explaining history of moves and stop trying to call the match and stop trying to exploit stuff, because when you sit there on TV or pay-per-view and they go, "Oh, look at that blackjack. That socket's full of baseballs." Jim Ross, how do you know that? He had no answer. And this guy used to be a professional wrestler. If I was dumb enough to throw out, "That socket's full of baseballs," how do you know that? Because I was a wrestler. I know what I did. If it's not full of baseballs, then what is it? There. How hard was that? And no, that's nothing I had to even think about. That was right there on the spot. Okay? Ever since he said that, and I've been thinking about it, every time I thought about it, it was, I don't know what I would say. I don't know. I mean, it's something in there heavy. It's round. Look at it. That's all I had. But right here on the spot, it was like, well, I was a wrestler. What, I used it. Throw it out there. And I wouldn't have went, if he was a wrestler 10 or 15 years ago, nobody would recognize him anyway. You go with the real name, you remove the mask. If no one knows what you look like, they barely remember what you sound like, you'd get away with it. I don't care if it's Tim Barrows or something, or Tom Beckelsum, it don't matter. Whatever your name is, it would have been what it is. Nobody would have noticed you. These companies are not at all, by any means, at odds with each other. They're not. But there is a company that is at odds with both of them. That company is NWA. That company is definitely after AEW. That company definitely insults NXT. That company is all about professional wrestling. That's what that is. I need some water. Whew. Ooh. So, they come out since day one. I don't know if they're done with the new tapings or not. But if y'all are going to be upset about Cornette, remember, they taped, 4 hours or 8 hours or whatnot, and they're clipping it down. So, yeah, you're going to keep seeing them until the new tapings. And even then, we might see them in some of the new tapings. Hard to say when they do those tapings. Maybe it'll be after the pay-per-view they start the new tapings. Who knows? But when they go out there, they talk about these are men. And these men are wrestling. They're grown men. They know what they're doing, know what they're saying. The wrestlers themselves are backing each other. Heels and faces are backing each other over the fact that these are men in the wrestling ring. They are not, Marco stunts. They aren't, like Riho and stuff like that. These are people that are over 5'10" in the ring wrestling. That's what they are all over it. Their commentary is old school and not necessarily stupid. But with Cornette going to be gone, it's going to be hard to say. Because the idea of commentary is to explain stuff, get them over. The idea of commentary is to let the people know the pacing of the match. The psychology of why one would use what move. The psychology of when or where to make the tag. Or when something happens, to explain why it's good, why it's bad. You don't get that in WWE. You will get that in NXT, not NXT. You'll get that in AEW. You'll get it in the NWA. And you damn sure will get it on my show. There are points when you can tell when I get ill, not bad mood. I mean like physically ill. I've got my illnesses, that really jack me up. And when I get ill and I have to fight through that, all I'll do is start just calling moves. That's pretty much all I'll do because it's just painful. And silence is the only comfort that I could get. Everything's got their reasons behind it. And NWA's reasoning is we're going to bury everybody and let you know we are the originators. We are everything that is professional wrestling. It's not so polished that you can see how phony it is. And it's not so phony you just find them as joke actors and you just, don't care about them or anything else. They get hurt. How do you know if they hurt? They are professional wrestlers. Short matches, yep. But that's what damage is supposed to be about. Not hitting move after move after spot after spot after spot. Does the move hurt? Yes. Show that it hurts. Is that move a finisher? Yes. Pin them. Not doing a damn near 11-foot drop of the most beautiful shooting star press in history and then kicking out. That don't make sense. Kicking out of legit finisher after legit finisher don't make sense. Just throwing it out there. If you got 20 ways to beat people, then use a different way a night. Now, sad to say, my gaming show here, which I try to treat as real as possible because this is my vicariousness, they'll kick out of damn near everything. So I try to percentile it and stuff. I don't use mods. I try my best to just have it so that later on in the match they'll go for certain moves. I try my best. If not, hey, they'll go for the finish on the big move. They will definitely go for the pin. That's it's how that works. You work with what you got. You got it's all you have to do is acknowledge that there is no war. There isn't. You've got WWE. Damn the brands. It's just WWE because they're also interchangeable. Is there really a brand? No, it's just a show that just have wrestlers on and off. You've got World Wrestling Entertainment. You've got All Elite Wrestling. You've got the National Wrestling Alliance. You've still got All Japan Pro Wrestling. You've still got New Japan Pro Wrestling, Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre, AAA. You've got all of those that you can watch and enjoy. So this whole war thing, the best thing that anyone can do is not cater to it being a war because it's not. The only war there is the one that's in your head. It's just companies trying to be better. NWA is trying to be better than all the companies. And I'm going to tell you right now, you know which companies are going to do the best. The ones that are hang on forever. Do you want to know what that is? That's the company or companies that will start working with overseas promotions. When they start working, now Riho and them can't count it because Stardom is so closed. It is a very closed company. You can't just, I've been searching, cannot find a full Stardom show unless it might be their first show maybe, or clips of a match or something like that. That's it. You don't get any better than that. That's all it is. And so they're too closed off. Can't count them. New Japan Pro Wrestling, whoever starts dealing with them, Ring of Honor, they got an open contract with them. It's good. You've got, All Japan Pro Wrestling, whoever's going to deal with them. CMLL, AAAI. It all depends about who is working with who. Company working with major company, making sure the talent work according to the policies of that company, to the style of that company. Keep your own, but don't go too loony, yada, 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 that kind of stuff. So that's important to know. Which company branches out the most is going to be and TNA, they had a great deal. Remember when they was on top? Remember when they was good? They was working with CMLL. They was working with AAA. They was working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They even worked with a little bit of Dragon Gate, I think. Other little subsidiary things. They were doing well. And when they started doing stupid stuff, what happened? Those other companies stopped working with them. So whichever company works overseas, get those people coming in, doing a stint there and whatnot, that's the company that has the best longevity chances, as long as they don't mess it up. I've gone for a while, just, if y'all want to watch these matches or just listen to me, fine. I'd rather y'all just listen. If you're on the road or something like that, hey, you know what? Pay attention to the road. You ain't got to be looking at matches or whatnot. If you're working around the house or something like that, cleaning up stuff, hey, man, just go ahead and clean. That's what you do. Clean, do your stuff, cook, get your stuff out the way. Just turn the volume up. Hear my melodious voice. So, I'm going to just close it out because I think I've said all that I need to say. It's been 32 minutes. Hope y'all, I'm not going to let this match, because this was a pretty long match right here. This is a big series of tag team matches. It was crazy. It was good. And I'm going to do it next year and every year after. And if changing games and stuff not, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make these wrestlers up again, just like I've done ever since 1992/1993. I keep making them up for every game system for longevity until that system is obsolete and something better comes along. That's about how that is. So, hey, work with me. Watch my shows. Check out all those on the left-hand side of your screen. The Minds account, that's going to be reserved for other stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to work with that. I was going to put up my Pro Wrestling Innovations. They're still there. My Pro Wrestling Innovations, some of them, I didn't put all of them up. I just don't know if they're going to, I don't know how Minds is going to do their policy. But everything else, my email, there you go. If you got questions, you want me to talk about something, you can let me know down in the comment section or send it as an email. If you got, you want to talk to me about something thereof, I don't know, hey, most likely you'll be informing me of anything more so than really having a conversation. You can do that on Discord. I got channels for all these wrestling promotions. Not so many overseas, but, enough. So that's how that rolls, Yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I'm saying too much. That's what happens when I run out of shit to say, y'all. I'm just saying, So this has been your host, Cedric Kennedy. You can see it upper left. for CRS and commentary on dispelling the people's imaginary war between AEW and NXT. Thank you for watching the event. You can catch that on YouTube. Crashing Seas Storm Surge Tournament 2019. It's hot in here. It started raining and got humid. So check me out. Check all these people out. I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you for listening. Peace.